Hello everyone and welcome back to NECC. This week we're going to be getting into some Rocket League. I'm normally familiar on the Valorant broadcast, but this time I'm flexing my talents a little bit. I've hopped across the pond once more to bring you some of that car football action. I am joined today by Jugglegod. How are you doing?
I am doing great. Very excited to be here today. I too am crossing lines as well. I'm typically on the Overwatch side of things, but Rocket League, another game that I absolutely love and love to cast, and looking forward to getting to do that alongside you today.
100%, man. I mean, when worlds collide, that's really what's going on right now. And we're going to have a couple of teams. I'll make sure I'm looking the right direction. We've got a couple of teams which will be clashing one another this evening. 3 best of 5s coming up for you all. If we take a quick look at the schedule, we can get into some of the names that we will be coming up with. So first of all, it's the 5 p.m. fixture. We've got SIEUE, oh my god, pretty much every vowel under the sun, Onyx versus NIU Black. Then Newbury Varsity, Clark Gray, Mary Woods, and NJCU Gothic Knights. A few more familiar names in the scene, I think it's fair to say, as we go further down the list. But still starting off with some pretty exciting matches, or an exciting matchup here in the emergence bracket. Juggle, is there anything that you can tell us about either of these teams coming into this one?
Absolutely. One of the things that I find most interesting about this matchup is it is going to be a battle on the air and the ground. We've got SIUE Onyx, who is very, very comfortable in the air. They've got a couple of players very highly skilled in that realm, going up against NIU Black, who is much more of a ground-based team. But both of these teams ready to bring it today. Both of them have been working on their rotations, and I think we're going to have a really fun series ahead of us.
I mean, we certainly will. Looking at both of these teams as well with their names, Onyx and Black. I mean, Onyx itself is a color which is a shade of black or so, if you could even call it that. So similarities perhaps between these two teams despite what they put out on the field. Looking at the players here, we have CSOM, Hyperwire, Tommy Phantom as the 3 of them. Few different things that they're studying. I mean, computer engineering I don't think is a level of education, but we've got a couple of freshmen there as well, so a decent mix. And I believe that they are somewhat more of a veteran team despite what their level of education may suggest, I suppose.
Absolutely. Now, speaking about some of these players that I mentioned a moment ago, the fact that a lot of these players are very, very good in the air. In particular, I'm going to be looking at CSOM, who is somebody who can rotate towards the back and come back in and play defensively and offensively as well. But taking a look at NIU Black. Now, this is a team that is coming together for the very first time this year. So this is going to be a lot of a new action that we're going to get to see from these teams. So not a whole lot we know about them just yet. So this is going to be an opportunity for all of us here to learn a little bit more about NIU Black.
Yeah, it's a really exciting prospect that you put forward, and we have a team full of freshmen here as well. However, like you mentioned, they haven't really been playing together so much up until this point in time. We see A501st Clones there, Star Wars fan, I imagine, is undecided on what they're graduating in as well. So I think it is really interesting here that we have this team now coming in, looking at the other team as well, obviously with that bit more experience, despite they're in the sort of same level in their career or path through college, I suppose. So it really is just going to depend what we end up seeing on the pitch, because I remember you were saying to me as well, you had the chance to speak with players on both teams at the beginning, and Onyx maybe were a little bit more favored in your mind in terms of gameplay, or at least they talk the talk, but we're just going to have to see if they walk the walk.
No, you're absolutely right. And apologies for my camera right now. For those of you on screen, you can't see that I'm just looking down and to my left at the moment. Momentarily, but that's going to be dropped back now towards the goal. It's a floater over into the corner. Phantom going to try and pick it back up.
Yeah, we're seeing already possession contested heavily between both of these teams, but it does seem to be Onyx that are having the majority of it up in the final third.
Gonna be Onyx attempting to drop backward. I apologize, everybody. My feed is a little bit scuffed. I'm gonna have to hand it over to you, Haza, for just a moment while I get things sorted out on my end.
Well, yeah, it must be said, Joel, I am in the same position as you. However, I've been left a frame or two, and we have been able to see here that actually it is SIUE Black that have got off to a flyer and have drawn first blood in this match. Or NIU Black, should I say, sorry. I mean, look, come on, no offense to American universities, but here in the UK, I mean, we don't have anywhere near as many letters or like, I'm not too sure what the phrase would be necessarily. An anagram perhaps for the university itself. And well, look, we're already seeing a double up here. We said about talking the talk, walking the walk. Right now, it's all being played ball into the hands of Black, and look at that. I mean, from way downtown, the ball goes flying in, and they double up for their lead.
Yeah, absolutely incredible play coming out from NIU Black already. I mean, we're not even in a minute into this match, and already we've got a 2-0 score line as Hyper tries to take the ball down towards NIU Black's side of the pitch. It's going to be Bro looking to pick it back up, but it has been cleared over towards Onyx.
It has. Once again, it seems like things are getting incredibly scrappy, especially towards the final third of the pitch as far as Onyx are concerned, but Black so quick on the counter here, able to get things flowing and really open up the play. Still just in transition for the time being, as it looks like Onyx are trying to get things out of their end of the pitch, but not really too much possession in terms of playing off of one another for the time being.
No, there isn't really at the moment. About 2 minutes into this matchup, and Onyx seems to have found their footing at this point. They've stopped the bleeding for the moment, and looking to see if they can get something going up in here, especially as the ball is right in front of NIU Black's goal.
Yeah, I mean, it seems as if neither team can really get a bottle on what's going on at this point in time. Constantly in transitions, we see some try to get set up for the aerial there, but just fall short. This allows an opportunity for Black to go chasing and potentially find a third. Seems as if the issue will be dealt with for the time being, though, as we see Hyper just lurking from deep, trying to get involved in the action, perhaps.
Gonna be the ball now caught up in the corner. Shot on goal. Not gonna go in this time around. Successfully defended. Hyper with it once again, seeing if they can find a teammate to get the ball passed over to.
Yeah, it's almost like table tennis at this point in time, right? You know, the ball going from side to side, the crowd eagerly watching as it swaps between the two halves. Still just looking really for Onyx to have a spell of play where they can actually create something, because I think right now this sloppy style of play really feeds into the hands of NIU Black, because they don't need any more goals at this point in time. Over half of the duration on the ticker has already been played, and they look to be in firm control.
That they do. A little under 2 minutes left to go now, and we've got NIU Black seeing if they can make something happen here, but shot right on goal coming in from Phantom Bro. That's going to be deflected relatively easily. They're going to see if they can keep control of this as they find themselves in the air and looking once more at NIU Black's goal.
Yeah, it's another opportunity, but I mean, how many times can we say that Onyx have had a shot on target here? Not very often. Black, right. Very, very clinical. It's almost like a game of FIFA, right? You have those FIFA stats that pop up at the end of the game. 29 shots, however many on target, but no goals. And it seems like Black have had 2 opportunities and converted both coming into this last minute. They remain in the lead.
Going to see if they can turn this around, if they can find some more success. They can at least find 1 goal here. That'll give them an opportunity to get something in the last remaining minute here, but it's looking less and less likely as the seconds begin to wind down.
It certainly is. The ball still in their half of the court at this point in time, but we know how capable they are of making a break, and Clones is already storming their way up towards the other side of the field. Does get shut down though, and it seems as if we're just ticking away the time at this point in time, and it's almost a formality as we're into the last 30 seconds.
Right. This is all but done. It's NIU Black so far coming out guns blazing, taking this very, very experienced SIUE team and showing them something I don't think they were quite ready for. 15 seconds left to go. It's just going to be up to these last remaining moments to see if they can get anything going with it. If they can score a goal within these last remaining seconds, there's still a chance, but it's looking less and less likely. That will be NIU Black coming away with the first game win.
Expect to set themselves up in this game. So convincing performance from them. They left everything on the field and they come away with this first game victory. We are going to be going to a quick break to resolve a couple of technical issues on the back end, but when we return, hopefully the stream will be perfect and we're ready to deliver the rest of this best of 5 to you, so don't go anywhere. Hello everyone, welcome back. Sorry about that short break for technical issues. Hopefully that will be the last of any problems and we can just get straight back into this game. We saw the first match in this best of 5 series picked up then by NIU Black. And well, Juggle, from what we saw, what is it that you have to take away from that?
Well, right now, I don't think that SIU Onyx is exactly how to handle the ground game that NIU Black is throwing at them. They've got so much prowess, so much potential, so much skill in the air, but you can't only have one or the other. And with NIU Black taking advantage of the ground game and taking advantage of how they play and how and keeping the ball on the ground as well, it's really led to a lot of their success. In addition, I don't think SIUE was necessarily expecting to go up against a team as talented as NIU Black. I mean, before the broadcast, you and I were talking, we both thought that SIUE was the favorites here, but look at what NIU Black came out with. It was spectacular in game number 1.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's only so much that you can read into it in writing, right? Because that's essentially all it is. It's literature. Send the tapestries back to the olden ages, because it seems like we've got some new trailblazers on the scene ready to write a story for themselves. Coming into this second game, well, okay. NIU Black have started off as they mean to go on.
Oh my gosh, what a shot right off the bat. And I mean, this is how NIU Black did it last time. They came in right off the bat, scored 2 goals before SIUE Onyx was ready. And now, once again, Onyx is in the place of having to play catch up. They're still in a shutout as well.
Literally, I mean, a current clean sheet is being held by them. Not too sure how much longer that may last, but if you're NIU Black, you're hoping that it will continue for the foreseeable future, because right now, as you mentioned, it's been an absolute clinic, incredibly comfortable with getting those finishes. And once they have a lead, it looks almost impossible to shut them down. A contentious one on the goal line, eventually pounded away. But NIU Black starting things off great with a kickoff goal.
Yeah, it's hard to come back from something like this. I mean, you know, especially after going down early 0-1 in that first game. At least this time, Onyx seems to have stopped the bleeding a little bit earlier than they did last time around. But right now, I haven't seen the kind of ball control that I really want to from them. Shot comes in, but it's going to be CSOM, that defensive powerhouse, coming back to prevent the goal.
It looks to be dropping into the half of Black again. They've been under the cosh for moments in this game, but it's what Onyx can do with this pressure to convert it, which we'll really have to be looking towards as well. Maybe sometimes getting caught out in the rotations when you consider how fast Black are able to get up the other end of the pitch and score a goal. Right now, though, just sitting in the midfield, both teams vying for possession, neither really being able to break away, a shot coming through from Onyx, but it is going to be dealt with, and Black are able to clear their lines once more.
Yeah, you know, it's not only the fact that Black has been able to do such a wonderful job on offense, but their defense has been there the entire time as well. There have been shots on goal, but none of them have gone in just yet. So right now, this team, NIU Black, they've got everything they need right now, I think, to make this a quick series for them, unless Onyx can come out here and change something dramatically soon.
The question is, Juggle, where do you start? There's always certain things that will look to be ironed out here, as we're seeing a potential opportunity for NIU Black goes awry once again. But Onyx, really, just to get back into this game, what's the first thing you're looking towards changing for them?
Oh, that was a what a time to ask the question. I know, right? Timing is everything, isn't it? Well, I think one of the big things I'd have to say is their defense. You know, that right there wasn't a shot that I think was necessarily too terribly hard to block, but it was just misread by one of the defenders.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
I would agree with you as well. It does seem to be these every couple moments that Black are able to find alongside constant pressure from SIUE Onyx. I mean, they're really scoring the majority of the shots that they're having. It's just not very much. It's that pressure we're seeing from Onyx that needs to be converted on. And, well, pressure makes diamonds. Pressure makes a lot of minerals as well, Onyx being one of them. But let's see if they can actually score.
Let's see if they can. The ball is down near Onyx corner once again. So they're going to have to clear it, though, before anything else happens. It's going to be another defensive maneuver there from CSOM. Ball is still hanging out, though, on Onyx's side of the pitch for the most part. They do have an opportunity here. They're going to see if they can take it to NIU Black. CSOM going in for a shot, and he makes it. That's going to have the lead, and it breaks the shutout.
Yeah, finally we see a little bit of dirt pop up on that clean laundry here from Black as Onyx will get that first goal. It's a very nice aerial drop shot off the backboard, a good setup, and we start to see that team play come alive between this unit, which have been working together for a while, like they said, and that's what we really want to see shine through, right? Because we've been a bit hard pressed to have those spells so far, as that's nearly an instant response.
Yeah, that was a beautiful shot right there, but the defense was even more beautiful. And now the ball has found its way back over onto Black side of the field, but no shot opportunity has materialized just yet. It's going to be Hyper trying to see if he can get control of the ball above the goal, drop it back. One of his teammates, CSOM, picks it up. It's going to be a pass over to Phantom, but it is disrupted. Shot comes in, but Navolta is there to deny.
And Hyper will chase this one up the field, has support with their teammates here as they look to get something going. Still not fully dealt with for Black, as Hyper will once again prod it into that final third. But just as quickly as they're on the defense, they seem to break. Only a minute left on the clock. 500 first will chase things up, but still both teams back and forth at this point in time. That lead starting to look a little bit fickle here for Black though.
Yeah, it is, but CSOM has come back in with a defense that we know he is capable of. They try to get the ball cleared down to Black's side of the field, but Onyx just unable to. That's going to be Customs trying once again to put a little pressure on NIU Black, but they're able to keep the ball out of harm's way. There's going to be a centering shot on CSOM, just misses the opportunity. Are they going to get another one? Not this time around, as the defense is there to disrupt that shot that just came in. We're going to see if 500 first clones can get something going, though, here for NIU Black. Seeing if they can put a little bit more distance between themselves and Onyx. But now with 15 seconds left to go, ball finds its way back towards Black side of the pitch.
We're in the last 10 seconds. Onyx really piling on the pressure. A demo coming in to slow down the manpower. They have to keep piling things on, but it seems as if we have come to a close here. Another 2 goals and a 2 mapper that we've seen so far, potentially even a 3-mapper, 3-0 series here if NIU Black can finish things off. But I mean, like I said, they had 2 opportunities, they converted both of them, put themselves in with a very strong lead. We see Onyx have a little bit more to show for in this one, unable to really cause too much from the pressure that they had, the defense of Black still being so strong. Juggle coming into this 3rd game and what could potentially be the final match in this best of 5. What is it that you can see here potentially changing for a chance to get Onyx on the board?
One possibility, I think, is to just play a little more aggressively. And by that, I don't necessarily mean trying to keep the ball on Black side of the field, which would be a good thing. But I would like to see maybe a little bit more, a few more demos come in, right? Because right now, it seems to me when NIU Black is on, they've got their full team there. They're just driving circles right now around SIUE Onyx. So I'd like to see them get in there and try and disrupt that a little bit, try and put them on the back foot, take one of the players out of the equation for a few seconds, which may not sound like much, but in Rocket League, it's a long time.
Oh, yeah, it certainly is. You've got to be considering the value that demos can have, almost like a tactical foul in a game of football, right? You see it happen, sometimes a professional foul, maybe you'd call it. But I think that Black were a lot more willing to put in these demos and also the rotations as well. You've got to consider that. Black knew when they had to defense, and as soon as it was time to go on the break and make a hit, they could go ahead and do it. So we should just be able to go to game 3 now. I believe that we have covered most of the hurdles on the back end, and now it is just looking in to see if there's a potential reverse sweep on the cards if we do finally get that response out of Onyx here.
Well, I hope we see some more life in this squad, because I'd love for this to go to a game 5. I would love to see them adapt and then to see what maybe NIU Black can do in response. But we're going to be sending it back in very, very shortly.
Yeah, we certainly will. Right now, we're just biding our time on the desk, I suppose. I think it's nice to get a flavor, from my perspective at least, of what the NA collegiate scene is like for Rocket League. I know in RLCS in general, NA is favored over EU. When you look at traditional football, or soccer as you would probably want to call it, I think EU is probably a bit better in that regard. And then you look at cars and you think of like F1, the main manufacturers are also in EU. But when you combine the two, then NA is better, I suppose. So
yeah, maybe. Who knows? That could be all it comes down to. But we're headed back into the game. Let's see if NIU Black can continue their dominance or if SIU Onyx has what it takes to bring us to a game number 4.
Well, they've got to pull something out of the back pocket here if we want to see that dream come to life. They, well, in the first game, weren't able to get off the mark. Second game, had that first goal. And now, if they're able to carry that trend on and get 2, well, it would only be leveling up the score because we know that Black are good for a couple of their own. But early on, already looking to pile on the pressure here as they have done time and time again. Onyx will have to try and clear their lines, which they seem to do for the time being.
Gonna be NIU Black trying to center it, but look at this. All of Onyx is playing very far back. They want to make sure that NIU Black doesn't have any opportunities to come away with a goal here. Looks to me as though they're going to play a little bit more defensively and then just bide their time, wait for opportunities. That was an opportunity right there for Clones, but doesn't quite convert it into a goal. Ball sent back down towards Onyx side of the pitch. CSOM going to try and clear it, is able to get it over to Phantoms, who has an opportunity. Can he get a centering pass over? No, it's going to be disrupted by Black, who now has an excellent opportunity.
Yeah, and look at the players they're able to push forward in this situation as well. Navolta still just hanging around, but Customs is there to bring things forward once again. It's like a game of tennis at this point in time once more. We're seeing both teams not really able to get a bottle on top of this possession, and it's just a matter of time before that opportunity does break to one of these two teams.
No, it certainly is. It's only a matter of time. But this is the longest we have seen a game go without NIU Black getting a goal on the board. So I have to wonder, especially after a goal like that, if Onyx hasn't started to figure things out.
Yeah, the trend has been broken. We're seeing a much better adaptation here coming through from Onyx. The way that they're playing things, a bit more structure to it as well, keeping or taking a leaf out of NIU Black's book by making sure there's always a few players back to deal with things as already. Problems being caused, a squared ball not able to get punted in. There's still reinforcements at hand, but eventually they do get things over to the other side of the pitch, and well, Onyx have dealt with that beautifully.
That they have, but they still have an opportunity to make something happen here. They don't want it to be just one goal that separates them. Shot comes in. Seesaw makes it 2-0.
Yeah, they're reading this one so nicely, Juggle, and it's what you love to see, to be honest, that finally we get that read coming through, that players need to sit back and look to hit on the counter, try and do exactly what it is that Black had been finding success from, emulate the defense-offense strategy. And now with a 2-goal advantage, the question is there still a ways back for Black into this game?
If there is, Back in Black would be the name. So they have an opportunity here, though. Shot comes in, and that is Onyx making it 3-0. This is now the biggest lead we have seen so far from either team.
Yeah, and it's thrown a spanner into the works in our minds as well, trying to post up any kind of analysis of this game so far. It's just topsy-turvy stuff, and now NIU Black, maybe you start to reach a point of when you start to save face, when does it become damage limitation looking into the next series to cause some problems, right, and maybe make some changes of their own, because currently they're just getting played off the park, and CSOM has a golden opportunity to find a 4th.
One thing I've got to say is you just have to admire the mental fortitude of Onyx to be able to come back from such a desperate situation and post 3 unanswered goals against NIU Black in this game. So that honestly has to make NIU Black a little bit worried now, as the shot has the potential to go in right now. It's going to be disrupted momentarily. Custom's going to see if they can find it on the wall. But no, it's going to be one of SIU's players who gets to it first. Ball will be cleared, though. And now it's SIU Onyx, the Black's opportunity.
Yeah, just going for a juggle up the pitch, Juggle. And what do you make of that one? It's in your name. It's pretty much your expertise to be calling this, but Hyper has made a fantastic shot from way downtown, and that may just be the nail in the coffin.
It very easily could be. We're down to under 2 minutes here, and you know, when we were at 2.5 minutes, I was thinking, yes, NIU Black, opportunity here to come back in this one, but at a 4-goal deficit with only 1.5 minutes left to go, it's looking less and less likely. Doesn't mean they should stop, though. Doesn't mean they shouldn't put the pressure on. because if they can gain a little momentum here in the waning seconds of this game, even if they don't get the win, they will be able to carry that momentum into the next one and maybe seal the deal then.
Yeah, we just have to remember that NIU Black, having won the last 2 games, are already in a position which lies very much on the edge of things, only needing one more game to secure this series. So really, it is in Onyx court, and well, when the pressure's been piled on, they have risen to the challenge just as that ball is elevated over the head of the defender. CSOM able to secure their brace in this game as the deficit only continues to widen between these 2 teams.
Yeah, that it does. Onyx really seems to, I said it before, I'll say it again, they found their footing, right? Maybe they needed a couple warm-up games, but right now, if things continue the way they are going, we could very easily see the reverse sweep coming in. Nice block there by Customs to make sure that things don't get worse for them, but Phantom Pro with a beautiful aerial dribble to get around one of the defenders. Gonna be able to give them an opportunity, but it is quickly cleared, and now things aren't looking quite as good as they were a moment ago for them. It's gonna be a shot coming in from Customs, but denied once again, and now Phantom Pro gonna see if they can drive it up the field.
Yeah, and we saw a demo in the mix there as well, so taking some of your advice perhaps in trying to alter the game strategy a little bit. Coming into the last 30 seconds here, it looks as if this one will just be all Onyx. 5-0 currently, 5-0 if you will. And something else to note as well is, considering the deficit we're seeing here as CSOM almost adds another one to it, Onyx have now scored as many goals across all 3 games as NIU Black have, so they're actually tied up in terms of scoring at this time. That also makes you think, maybe it was just a couple of missed shots or extreme clinics, as we do finally see a response.
Yeah, nice goal there in the waning moments of this game. Defender's not quite able to get back, maybe getting a little overconfident there. 2 seconds left to go. Let's see if NIU Black can put one more on the board like they did in those first seconds last time around. Timer has stopped, so as soon as this ball hits the ground, it's going to be all over. Clone's going to try and keep it in the air, see if they can maintain position, but Onyx closes it out with a 6th goal.
Yeah, and the ball was just dropping on the goal line as well, so there was a possibility of a 6th finding its way into the back of the net there. But, well, fortunately for Black, they didn't see the bulge of the net and they were spared in that regard. So by finding a goal at the end of that game, I was speaking about it briefly earlier, now we're seeing both of these teams tied up in terms of scoreline, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So it's 6 or 7 goals now for Black across the 3 games that we've seen so far, and 6 for Onyx, which means that in terms of scoring, they are actually very close, especially in that one, very free-flowing, the opportunities that they were able to send home. So, I mean, Joggle, coming into this, what could potentially be the final game of the series once again, do we see a potential reverse sweep on the cards? What have Black got to try and do to shore up ship and send up shop?
Well, I think the first thing they need to do is just shake that last one off, right? Because for them, maybe this is just going to be a bump in the road, right? Maybe they got a little overconfident and they have to say to themselves, okay, time to buckle down again. Got to play it by the book. Do what we were doing in those first 2 games, right? Put Onyx on the back foot as quickly as you can, because it seems like if they can do that, they can keep the game in their control. But when Onyx came out swinging this game, it didn't look to me like there was much that NIU Black was able to do in response.
Yeah, and I think something to note as well when you look at the way that these games have been playing, and as you mentioned, I think in a lot of ways it's frustration that had really been plaguing Onyx, because when you're not able to break the ice straight away, get a goal in the opening moments, or at the very least respond to an opener, which most of the time Black were able to put up, it then puts you in a situation where you feel as if you can't do it. Try as you might, there's just not enough strength to really push the envelope far enough to get it over the line, I suppose. And the longer you go in a goal drought, the worse it begins to feel. So as soon as they got that first goal and actually had a tangible advantage to try and work with, it was the springboard of all springboards to just send them to the moon. So really, in a way, it makes you think that whoever scores first in this next game will come in with a serious amount of momentum backing them up.
Yeah, I think you couldn't be more correct there, because right now that's the way each of these series has gone. And not only that, but I feel like I've noticed a difference in the play style from both of the teams, right?
Yeah.
You remember early on in that game, this last third game, UE. They were playing very defensive. They had all 3 players back near the net, but as soon as they started to get goals, they then fell back into, I think, what they typically like to do a little bit more, playing a little bit more aggressive, keeping that ball in the air and keeping it away from NIU Black. So if they could continue to do that, then I think this could very easily go to a game 5 and be a reverse sweep.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly could. We're just going to have to see. I think a lot of how this game will end up in the series does hinge upon this next map, because you have a fantastic opportunity here, like you mentioned, for Onyx to tie up the series, bring that momentum into a game 5, or Black to shut things out, reset from what we've seen, read into the adaptations that we saw Onyx bring forward as well. One of their strong suits, you mentioned this in the pregame before we'd even got a flavor of what this matchup was going to be like, was their aerial prowess, and that is something which was demonstrated highly when they were able to find that success in the last game as well. Hypers having a few great opportunities, a dribble from all the way back to score one of the goals which really began to stretch that lead. So a little bit more playing into their strengths and playing against the weaknesses of their opponents. I think it's having a balance of both, which they were able to strike so nicely and put up such a result in the previous game.
Well, we will be heading back in very, very shortly. But if I had to, if you had to make a prediction right here, right now, which way do you think this is going to go? Was that just a bump in the road for NIU Black, or is this Onyx ascending? Is this Onyx reaching their final form, and now there's just nothing left to be done from NIU Black?
Well, I mean, when we think of Onyx the Pokemon, right, I'm pretty sure that's the final evolution. I mean, you can, well, actually, it can evolve into Steelix, right? And you know what Steelix has? Like, steel, and you need that mental fortitude. And I think right now, if Blacks can just lock down the mental, right, say to themselves, look, okay, this was a blip. I mean, potentially, sometimes you see this as well. Teams will say, okay, we're down 3 goals. The time's ticking down. Look, realistically, we know that this one's slipping away. Like, it's the one game that got away. We forget about it doesn't matter, reset and go into the next series. If we can see a mental reset from them, then I feel confident that they can take it, but they also have to bolster that defense a lot more and be as clinical as they were. It hinges on a lot of factors, and naturally that does favor Onyx, I suppose. So I'm really not sure. I think if Onyx are able to pick up this game, then they will win. They'll win the whole series. But if Black are able to pick this one up here, well, I think it speaks for itself. Either way, we are now into it. The all-important game, the million-dollar question being posed. What kind of answers can we find?
Let's find out. The ball caught up in the midfield at the moment, but I perceive to have a breakaway opportunity. Potential shot coming in from Phantom, but disrupted the last moment. Follow-up, though, from CSOM. Gonna be good. And that is Onyx putting on that first goal. Is this the beginning of the end?
I think it certainly could be, Juggle. I don't want to read into this one too heavily and get ahead of myself. We've only played 20 seconds, for goodness sake, but by the flip side, we've only played 20 seconds and Onyx are already off to a flying start, so this bodes extremely well for their chances in the series. A nice tactical demo close up to keep the pressure on, but Black aren't able to find anything from it, and Onyx will clear their lines.
It's going to be Hyper with an aerial dribble, goes for a shot, but unable to keep pace with the ball. Now Phantom looking to see if they can pick up this pass that's coming over towards the midfield, but not quite able to. Customs now forced to drop back, see if they can clear the ball. It's just rolling towards the midfield. Going to be disrupted a little bit there, but neither team really seeming to gain much purchase until that shot came in.
Yeah, it's almost that sinking feeling for NIU Black at this point in time. They've got to make sure that things don't get to them. They can, get that steel coat over the Onyx, upgrade themselves, and move on to the next stage and shut this one out 3-1, avoiding the potential of that game 5. And 501st does set up a nice shot. Customs is on the scene as well, but gets demoed, taken out from the fray, and Onyx are able to live a little longer.
Ball just dancing in front of SIUE Onyx's goal, but not able to find its way into the net right now. NIU creating some opportunities. Here's another one, but once again, the defense from the Onyx looks unimpeachable.
It certainly does, and already there's an opportunity that goes sniffing for Phantom to try and find anything, a half chance, a phantom chance if you will, but already Black have retaliated with some pressure of their own. That one does get sent to the other end of the field. Whoa. And then Iper, with a flick on, sends it over the goal line, and just like that, the advantage is doubled up for here already.
Wow, look at that beautiful shot, gets it in just to the side of the goal post. So beautiful shot coming in there to make it 2-0. 2 minutes off the clock as well. So NIU Black, I mean, this is, let's see here. No, they had 1 goal last game. But out of the last, what is this now, 8 goals? 7 of them have been for Onyx.
It looks like Novolta's trying to do it all by themselves, but in a 3 versus 3 game, it'll be hard pressed to do so. Already, Onyx continuing to create opportunities for themselves as that one goes up high. We know how dangerous they can be from these positions, but no one's able to get on the end of it, and Black have an opportunity to get rid of things. Very, very close to flying into that top corner, but not going to happen, and there's once again an opportunity for them to move up the field.
Yeah, the ball seems to be hanging out in NIU Black's side of the pitch there. Onyx has been able to put a lot of pressure on them, and anytime the ball is cleared, they're able to just pick it back up and drive it back down towards NIU Black's side of the pitch. So right now, things are looking really, really good for SIUE. Nice clear, though. It's going to be CSOM dropping back to try and get a hold of it. Doesn't quite get the clear they're looking for, but a demo coming in is certainly going to help them keep the ball out of dangerous way.
Yeah, NIU Black having a couple of these opportunities where the ball goes up high and there's no one there to capitalize off the back of a save from the Onyx side. The possession constantly turning over between these 2 teams as Onyx once again just hit the frame of the goal and go close to finding a third, which surely would be a closer and bring us to that game 5. But Black hanging on for the time being, and those dying embers of hope may just be, well, dying, I suppose, as they are unable to find something, and yeah, another block will seal that deal.
Yeah, the defense so far has been firing on all cylinders for SIUE Onyx. They have seemed to turn the tables in quite a way. You know, the adaptation has come through from Onyx, but I haven't seen that change yet from Black. And now that we're down to just a minute, it looks very likely that you and I will be seeing a game number 5.
Certainly will. I mean, firing on all cylinders is the perfect way to say it. In the last 2 games, it seems like until now, NIU Black have downgraded to the GP2 engine. It's the old McLaren rearing its ugly head, and there we have it. A 3rd goal here for Onyx will surely close up this one and secure us a map 5. Going the distance, reverse sweep on the cards. For NIU Black right now, what have they got to look to? How can they help find that original form?
You know, I think that you got to take it step by step, right? And the first thing is keep the ball out of your side of the pitch, right? Yeah. If they can just try to maintain presence in SIU's side of the field, then maybe they can find some opportunities here. But with 30 seconds left to go, that's going to have to be a goal every 10 seconds, which we have seen NIU strike that fast. So we know it's not out of the question, out of the equation. They just have to make it happen.
Yeah, I mean, it was that kickoff goal that we saw to start ourselves off in game 2, but it feels like a long time ago now as we're seeing a completely different identity come out of SIUE. And not nearly the solo goal, but can't quite trickle over the line. That will be this one coming to a close, and a game 5 coming its way to all very, very shortly. I mean, this is a real tale of 2 half struggle, and I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
No, this is fantastic. Both of these teams have shown us some great Rocket League today. Maybe not necessarily at the same time, but regardless, we have seen some great Rocket League. Both of these teams have had their moments, have shown up in a really big way. But now, despite everything we've seen, it all comes down to this. Game number 5, whoever comes away with this is going to get the win.
Yeah, and, well, SIUE are tapping into that form that we expected from them. You know, on paper, looking like the stronger team, having a little bit more pedigree in terms of the fact that they had been playing together a bit more, and that counts for a lot in Rocket League. I think sometimes people overvalue, or undervalue, should I say, the value of teamwork itself and what that can offer for you, because being able to rotate for one another, set up those plays, as we've seen a couple of times, or potentially even fall short when we're speaking speaking about Black and their strategy at hitting on the counter on a couple of occasions. It's things that you really want to try and see, and it's such a difficult situation because you spoke about it as well, right? We've seen both of these teams now on top form, but not at the same time. Coming into this final game, I would love to see the potential of both of them at their very best and who will be coming out on top, but we're just going to have to see.
Oh, an early opportunity here for SIUE Onyx. Can they convert it into anything? They absolutely will. 5 seconds in. I gotta tell you, what is this, 4 out of 5 games? We've seen a goal in, I think, the first 10 seconds.
Yeah, and Juggle God, I mean, this is just lingering on the mind right now. SIUE Onyx, I mean, that's the second time in a row that they've done that. The previous game ended 3-0, the one before that 5-1. Really just putting their foot down and saying, look, we had our fun in those first couple of games. The shots weren't quite hitting. We had them on target, but couldn't see them over the line. Now the finishes are there. The final touches have been made, and, well, NIU Black look to be put to the sword.
That they do, but right now they are putting up a fierce and aggressive push. They've been able to keep the ball on SIUE Onyx's side of the field for the last 30 seconds ago. So this is the first opportunity Onyx has really had at goal for NIU Black outside of that first shot that went in. But these shots are looking very dangerous from SIUE Onyx. They might not need many in order to make a big difference.
Certainly not, but NIU Black have got to be careful here, and careful they are not. Hyper will pounce, and just like that, it's almost as if a dog is chasing their tail in the park. A lot of chasing the ball, trying to overexert themselves and find some impact, claw their way back into this game. The sinking feeling sets in once again. There was a couple of ice picks put into the side of the mountain, but now they're slipping, and it really is that analogy, I suppose, the best way to put up how NIU Black are performing in these late stages.
Yeah, I think it is, and it's also it really is Onyx activating, right? This is, you know, the first 2 games are a far cry from what we're seeing right now from this Onyx squad, and you know, NIU Black just hasn't been able to rise to the occasion in these last 2 games, but they've got an opportunity potentially here. They have it on Onyx's side of the field.
Yeah, I mean, it really is up the side of the mountain face, right? They're looking to try and find the peak, but can't quite get over it, and well, can't quite even get over this ball, which seems to be leaking in towards their defense time and time again. Phantom trying their darndest to get it over the line, but not happening, as Hyper hits a high shot, which falls just in the underside of the crossbar, making it a 3rd already in Game 5, and it seems as if they're just running away with this one now.
It certainly does, and that's, you know, that's a tough one to see because what was it? I think it may be game number 2, right? There was a shot came in that to me was very blockable, was very savable, but just didn't happen, and we saw it again right there. So I'm wondering, you know, are the nerves getting to NIU Black right now as well? Are they able to keep their mental game in tip-top shape? Because to me, that was a shot that could have been blocked.
Yeah, and I mean, Onyx right now as well, they're above double digits in terms of the numbers that they've been able to put up in terms of goals. Not only are they winning these games, they're doing it in free-flowing fashion. The amount of times that we've seen them make ridiculous scorelines after those first couple of hurdles they dealt with at the beginning is absolutely ludicrous. Now, once again, just poking to try and find anything, but running out of momentum. Being in control of the boosts is so important and pivotal in the way that you're able to find success in this game. Not really being dominated by either side, but Onyx having much better spells in this game as they have done.
Oh!
And there we have it. Finally a response from NIU Black.
There we go.
They may not just be done yet.
No, they may not. We have just eclipsed the halfway mark in this last game. NIU Black got a goal on the board. They can build off of this. They can try and find more success from it, especially off the kickoff, where we've seen both of these teams do exceptionally well on the offense. Volta, again, trying to center the ball in front of the goal. Here comes one of their teammates. It's going to be disrupted, though, and the ball ends up careening back towards NIU Black side of the field. Can the defense get there? It barely does.
Volta with a huge save, trying to do absolutely everything by themselves. Will require a little more support, but once again gets a shot on target. Omnipresent is this player, trying to claw their way back at the very death. NIU Black have shown the soft underbelly, but are trying to reinforce things so late in this game. But is there enough time left on the clock?
Minute 45, and then NIU Black says, yes, there is. They've got the ball in Onyx's corner. Centering shot, that's gonna be Customs coming in to bring us to within 1 goal.
Oh, Custom says, you know what? Don't get too accustomed to this heavy scoreline, Onyx, because we're starting to chip back away at you. Only 1 goal separates the 2 teams in this final game of the series, tied up at 2 apiece. Into the 5th, it is neck and neck.
Minute 30 left to go, 90 seconds on the clock, and now Onyx seems to be crumbling just a little bit before our very eyes. It's going to be an opportunity, though, for them to get a shot, but the defense is there. Can it remain in place? Because Onyx does not want to let off the gas, but now the ball finding its way into Onyx's side of the pitch. Disrupted briefly in the midfield, but Clones is able to pick it up and keep the pressure on. Can they convert this into a goal?
We'll just have to see. Customs just misses that one, but as always, the trusty Navolta. He's here, he's there, he's every bloomin' where right now, but Onyx still maintaining that lead coming into this final minute, and not only that, extending it. It may just be out the reach of Black at this point in time, as Hypers, once again, who's been instrumental in their comeback across the series, has put another one to the good.
What a shot coming in from Hyper to bring them to a 2-goal lead. 55 seconds left on the clock. Kickoff gonna send the ball careening high into the sky. Nobody able to really make much of it at the moment, but shot just a little bit high coming in from NIU Black. Ball finding its way towards the midfield, though. It's in front of the goal. Can they clear it? It looks like they will be able to this time, but just about 30 seconds remaining to go. They have to do something, and it has to be now.
Yeah, not only do they have to do something, it's got to be something special. We've seen a lot of goals out of the top drawer as Navolta is ducking and weaving. It's a nice little flip from the underneath, a cheeky chip, which has secured a finish. And now we are really approaching the finish line. It is do or die. And Black don't look like they want to roll over just yet.
No, they do not. And for a new squad, regardless of the outcome of this game, this is a phenomenal showing from NIU Black. 20 seconds left to go. Ball has an open net right here, and that's going to go in. CSOM is going to be able to extend their lead to 2 once again.
Oh, that's absolutely heart-wrenching stuff if you are on the side of Black right now, because they got so close time and time again. I mean, this series was beckoning, almost begging to be won by them with that 2-0 advantage in the best of 5. But now it seems as if the only thing we're seeing 5 of is 5 goals on the side of Onyx. Not something which you're expecting coming out the first couple of matches. 5 seconds left on the clock, which will soon become 2-1. And then, well, before we can even bring it to a close, Phantom has managed to cause one more infliction into the hearts of those players and surely secure this series for Onyx in the reverse sweep.
What an incredible match we have seen today here for us, Haza. This has just been absolutely phenomenal. Kudos to both of these teams. They brought their A-game today, but in the end, it will be SIUE Onyx who comes away with the win, but they had to fight for it.
Oh, they certainly did, but you must credit them for the amount of graft that was put in. SIUE Onyx, I mean, it is a real tongue twister every single time I pull it out, but thankfully there won't be much more times that I have to say it as we have come to a close here with this first series at the very least. But yeah, it shows how much experience counts for in these scenarios. The fact that they didn't let their mental be warped whatsoever and crack underneath that pressure, it only elevated the gameplay. And when they were stood on the very brink, that's when the adrenaline kicked in and we saw the fantastic reverse sweep, bringing it all the way to a game 5, which, on the other hand, I have to say, you've got to credit Black as well for still bringing their, perhaps not their A-game, I suppose, the defense still struggling a little bit, but that resurgence towards the late game to bring things within touching distance on numerous occasions.
You're absolutely right. And I think more than anything, what this game tells me is that both of these teams are teams to watch out for. I mean, either one of them, I think, could have a very strong showing here in NECC. And I, for one, will be eagerly following both of these teams because NIU Black, they have definitely made a name for themselves here today, which I think is something they really wanted to do. But SIUE Onyx, they've shown what makes them such a high caliber, high quality team that wins over and over again. And part of that is being able to keep your head on your shoulders, keep your head in the game, and making sure that when you get down, it doesn't mean that you're out.
It certainly doesn't. We saw a lot of games, we saw a lot of goals, but we still have a couple more coming up for you guys later this evening. Before then, we're going to throw it to a quick break, but when we return, there'll be plenty more Rocket League action over here on NECC2. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Hazard, this has been Juggle, and we'll see you very soon.